The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Deep from the bowels of the Macabre Theater Laboratory, we bring you Macabre Cast. There is nothing wrong with your streaming service. You are exactly where you should be, where the slush puppy machine is always on and cold. Your favorite horror mag is on the rack, discreetly displayed between Women's Wear Daily and Cosmopolitan. I'm your host, Dark Mark, along with my mold-riddled counterpart, Karis, the Little Mummy, here to bring you the latest episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't. Ew! Newbies welcome, regulars welcome back, and worshippers, get out of here. This is a safe space for the generation who single-handedly replaced the kitchen table ketchup bottle with Tabasco sauce and salsa. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and follow my show on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and when I'm not violating infantile community standard rules, TikTok. Tell a friend to do the same, even that guy who sidles in and around the line of people to appear as though he had been ahead of that line since the very beginning, demonstrating that he missed the memo in kindergarten that said, no cutting. Yeah, that guy. If you wish to interact with fellow Monster Kids, follow the Facebook page, Macabre Theater. It's there where you can send me a voice message and participate in a future show. Or simply send me an email at macabretheater666@gmail.com. Macabrecast episode 169 and all of its gory glory begins now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Adoro il cast macabro.
Macabre.
Welcome back from Monster Island, Doc.
Thank you, Karis. As I've said many times, the only real monsters are man.
And women. Let's not discriminate, shall we?
Right, Karis. All genders are truly capable of being monsters.
Hey, Doc, what did the policeman say to the nipple?
Wow, Karis. I can see we're off to an inappropriate start.
Freeze! You're under arrest!
And on that note, it's time for horror news. Horror effects and makeup master Screamin' Mad George has passed on to the other side at 69 years young. This actually happened 5 months ago in February as the family chose to have his death kept private. Hey, to each his own, because we all grieve differently. The 2009 horror thriller Sorority Row gets the 4K Blu-ray treatment on September 25th. The Passenger is available to stream ever since August 20th. Phantasm star and icon Reggie Bannister has passed on to the other side at 80 years young. Crawl 2 is set to begin production this month. And that's it for horror news. And Draven agrees. Draven the blood-vomiting bat. Children of the night, what messes they make. sure, the characters in our favorite horror films have become tropes over the years. Well, maybe not all, but most. The slut, the jock, the jokester, the nerd, Mr. or Miss Lonely Hearts, the hero that's too little, too late, the red herring, the prophet of doom, the bad boy, and the final girl. If your life were a horror film, and I hope for you it isn't, who do you think you are? We all thought Ted, the jokester from Friday the 13th Part 2, was goofy. But let's be honest, he avoided Jason's wrath because he ignored Paul's ordinance to return to the camp when the bar closed. Instead, he went on to party at an after-hours place. And the most painful thing Ted got from that weekend massacre was a hangover. Glenn, the jock from the OG Nightmare on Elm Street, had no problems getting girls, but he wasn't the brightest bulb in the room.
Horror chap Matt knows all about monsters. He said they were coming to get me tonight.
Hey, Doc Mark, Little Cars, and all the Monster Kids. Back at the theater this week, it's Horror Chap Matt here again. Doc, I'm glad you made it back from Monster Island. I hope you had a great time. We really missed the show last week. I'm glad everything's back on track. While you were gone, I watched a couple of movies. I was keeping the dud train rolling with Devil's Mouth from Amazon. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself with these shark movies. In my mind, I know there will never be another Jaws, but I will always watch a shark movie unless it looks completely ridiculous. And this one looked like it could have potential, and I have to say, right from the very beginning, when you meet this cast, I couldn't wait for the shark to start eating them. Very unlikable characters. And the setting was kind of cool. It was basically The Descent meets Jaws. And CGI shark, that's kind of all I really have to say. And the scale on this thing kept changing. Its head looked like it would be the size of a small vehicle, and then all of a sudden they'd show it swim by and it looked like it could possibly be about maybe 5 feet long, and then in other scenes it looked like it was 20 feet long. So yeah, just sloppy in my opinion. I'm going to give this thing a 3 out of 10. It's not worth your time, even if it is somewhat for free on Amazon Prime. And then my wife and I finally got around to watching Ready or Not 2. I enjoyed it. Again, CGI all over the place. The story was fun. It got a little slow in spots, especially with the two main characters constantly discussing their past relationship. But overall, I enjoyed it, and I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. And then for this week's topic, what type of character would you be in a horror movie? I'm going to be a combo. I'm definitely a jokester. I have tons of bad puns and very sarcastic, dark sense of humor. But I also would see myself as the hero character that's just too late, too little, too late. I'm not going to be the main character. I'll be killed as I'm trying to rescue the final girl or whatever, stop the killer. And you know what? As a combo, as I'm being taken off the board, I'll probably make a bad pun while it's happening. As always, Dark, make mine Macabrecast.
Horror Chat, I at this point I haven't given up on shark movies, but the majority are so bad, and there are so many I've watched for 20 minutes, if that, and turned off, that I usually now wait till I hear reviews like this. I wait till the reviews come in or to hear what people say, just so I don't waste my time. And I had already heard so much bad stuff about The Devil's Mouth before you even said that I just didn't even bother. Yeah, and as far as, the character, who you'd be in a horror film, I could see that. Although your little cheesy puns that you gave, especially at the time of death, sometimes for me and we talked many episodes ago about what takes you out of a film. I don't mind a little humor in horror movies. I don't even mind like an Evil Dead 2. But sometimes the joking or the puns during the death take me right out of the film. So if you were in my film, that would be cut. You wouldn't be allowed to do that. You could tell jokes through the whole thing, but in your death scene, they go, it looked like his character was saying something, but I didn't hear anything. That's because I would cut it right out. But we won't cut you right out, Horror Chat Matt. Always great hearing from you, and we hope to hear from you again real soon.
You're listening to Doc Mark's Macabre Cast, episode 169. What character are you in the horror film?
Cobwebbed Classics.
Welcome to Cobwebbed Classics, where I dust off a lost, forgotten, or just plain unappreciated film and introduce it to, or maybe just remind you about it, so your spooky Saturday night might run a little creepier. Today's Cobwebbed Classic is 1981's Madman, directed by Joe Giannone, starring Galen Dawn of the Dead Ross, Tony Nunziata, and Harriet Bass. Last on the coattails of Friday the 13th clones, I had the satisfaction of seeing Madman in the theaters back in 1981, before VHS players were in every home, and before video stores monopolized every corner with horror sections the size of a studio apartment. So, clone or not, I soaked in every film like this that came down the pike. Is it a great slasher film? No. Is it good? Yes. If what you are looking for is simple and gooey, then Madman is for you. The first half tends to drag, just a speck. I mean, this is no slow burn, just not the best paced first half ever. At least for a film that takes place in the fall. Well, it's supposed to be taking place in the fall. It actually looks like fall in New England. It was filmed in the winter, however. So, as I said, the story is simple. During some campfire tale at a summer camp, a story is told about a man named Mars, Madman Mars, who killed his family with an axe, was arrested, tried, and convicted. He was then smacked in the face with an axe and hung. No, that's not the end of the story. It's later discovered that Mars has broken free of his noose and disappeared into the woods. Now, anyone who speaks his name above a whisper will bring down the wrath of Madman Mars. At that point, Richie, one of the most annoying of the predominantly C-list cast, shouts out the name Madman Mars. And if that wasn't good enough, he throws a rock through the window of the killer's house. I just want to know whose brilliant idea it was to have this fire just a stone throw from the Mars house. See what I did there? Regardless, guess what? Richie's infuriating behavior brought on, if you haven't guessed, death and destruction. Yes, correctamundo, Madman Mars is on the hunt. What follows is a bunch of reckless counselors fooling around, heading out into the woods to take a leak, or just wondering where so-and-so is and going out to look for them. One creepy aspect of this camp slasher film is there are actually kids staying at this camp along with the counselors, which usually you don't see. And of course, our killer, Madman Mars, is a hulking mass, much like that Voorhees mama's boy. Paul Ehler, the actor who played Madman Mars, got a call while filming that his wife had delivered their baby. He rushed to the hospital to hold his son in full Madman Mars makeup, covered in movie blood. What doctor or nurse practitioner doesn't snap a photo of this while it's going on? That's just beyond me. This film was originally supposed to be based on the urban legend Cropsey, but when production received word that the film The Burning was being made, apparently also based on the Cropsey legend, the entire story was rewritten. I think the producers of this film thought franchise was written all over it, and to this day, I'm surprised there wasn't even one sequel. Taglines for this gem are as follows.
Don't say his name. They thought they were going home. Surprise. Deep in the woods lurks a hideous evil.
1981's Madman is this week's
Cobwebbed Classics.
Is this a Nothing you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Doc, Mark, and Karis. Scary Larry here, semi-patiently waiting for the return of Macabre Cast. Latest topic? I took a few different versions of these quizzes. This one is, can you survive a horror movie? And my results were always, you're the one who makes it to the end. Doesn't necessarily make me the hero of the movie. Maybe just a cunning survivor. Who knows? Anywho, been far too hot here to get out much, even though movie theaters are air conditioning. So I haven't seen Ice Cream Man as yet, but I'm working on it. I did make the mistake of watching the remake of The Toxic Avenger. They have Peter Dinklage as a protagonist. Apparently, to make him seem plausible, his power is all in his mop, not like the original super strength. Kevin Bacon plays a smarmy villain in this. And all in all, it's an hour and change I am never getting back. Now, there's a line of movies I am looking forward to seeing. Among them is Pinocchio Unstrung, as Robert Englund is the voice of Jiminy Cricket in this, and the trailer looks good. So, more to follow.
I am a fan of the original Toxic Avenger, and I'm going to tell you right now, I knew that was coming out, and it piqued my interest at first, but I never even bothered. But what does that say about me? I judged a book by its cover, and we should never do that. And you know how I feel about these Disney movies, copyrights expiring and them turning them into horror movies. And I even though I've never seen those, I always kind of poo-poo them. Robert Englund is the voice of Jiminy Cricket. Now, Larry, you have my attention. I'm still going to wait till you see it first, just in case I don't have to.
So, you're back from Monster Island. You haven't said a whole heck of a lot about it. We all know there's beautiful beaches there, amongst the monsters, which according to you are mostly men. But what else did you do? We know you drank and probably gambled and had lots to eat. Anything else?
Well, I love to read on the beach. It's one of my favorite things to do. And 3 Monster Islands ago, I had started a book called A Werewolf Remembers. And it's kind of written like the original Dracula, but from the kind of like a journal by Lawrence Talbot, the Wolfman. And it kind of connects all those movies together. And it's really good, but a little overwritten. So it took me a little longer to get through than most books. But I finally finished it, and I was able to start a new book.
Books? You read books? You're not a very exciting guy outside of the show, are you?
Yes, Karis, reading is a good thing. I mean, even if it's an audiobook, there's a lot of times, if I can, I get an audiobook and listen to it. So I might have 2 books going on at once. One I'm actually reading and an audiobook. But the second book I started was written by Paul Holes. He's an ex-forensic scientist and was the one, responsible for capturing the Golden State Killer. And I'm already halfway through the book. I started it midweek, and I'm at the halfway point. So I'm whipping through it. A lot of nonfiction I can whip through.
Wow, your trip sounds so exciting. I might just fall asleep.
It was absolutely relaxing. And the monster kids out there will never know how much I really needed it. And the same for Laura Harr. I'm sure she would say the same thing.
You're listening to Doc Mark's Macabre Cast, episode 169. What character are you in the horror film?
Breaking news, at the time of this recording, it was just reported that Scream 4 actress Hayden Panettiere has passed on to the other side at 36 years young.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Ho ho! Strap yourselves in, girls. Melody is the M in TV MLV. And the constant swearing. Can you even stand it? My nerves are crushed.
Hello, Doc Mark, Cara's little mummy, and all the Macabre Cast fans listening. And even the ones listening but never send voice messages in. First off, I'd like to say welcome back, Mark. I hope you had a fantastic vacation and enjoyed the weather on Monster Island. Very glad to have you back. I've had a few vacation weeks myself and missed some episode and just had a couple of things to say. I have not seen any new movies at the theater. There really hasn't been anything worth going to see. Plus, I've been just pretty much in the sun, on the beach, laying around, doing nothing on my vacation. So, but really, there were no movies really I wanted to go out to see anyway. Not that it's horror, but I hear amazing things about the Odyssey or whatever, and that Mark Wahlberg should definitely get an award for that, everybody is saying. I'll have to watch it sometime. Oops, I'd like to make a correction. It is not Mark Wahlberg, it is Matt Damon. So before everybody, she said Matt Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg isn't even in the freaking movie. Okay. My brain was saying Mark Wahlberg because he's just so friggin' hot, I can't get him out of my head. But I know it's Matt Damon. I remembered after my message, and I want to correct myself so I don't hear anybody shit next episode. So yes, I do hear that Matt Damon deserves some sort of award because he was absolutely incredible. That's it. I have seen a couple on my app, but I've already reviewed them on here, so I'm not going to bore everybody. However, I missed episode, I think, 167 and 168. And I just want to say, like Horror Chat Matt said, I also like Deep Water and thought it was a good movie. It was definitely different from a lot of the similar movies I've seen. Like the movie Up or whatever it was called, Mark was talking about before. Also, Mark, if ratings in the summer months are so low, then why not take the summer off? Enjoy yourself. I know I, for one, am very busy during the summer months and try to keep up the best that I can. Regarding episode 168, I really enjoyed the campfire stories. I was sitting here listening with my blankie all cuddled up, scared. The one about the lurker being in the back seat. It was actually in the movie I saw too, but I can't remember the name of it. She stops at the gas station and the guy's trying to warn her and he was in the back seat ready to kill her. I just can't remember what the hell that was in. I also saw The Devil's Mouth, and that was a pretty good movie. It's about a group of college friends. They go on an adventure in Thailand, and it turns deadly because they become trapped and submerged in caves, which I am claustrophobic, and this totally was not a good movie for me to be watching. But I watched it because it was water, sharks, and a bunch of young kids. It wasn't too bad. Of course, their oxygen's running out, and they talk about shit happened in the past and arguments, blah, 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 as they're trying to fight to stay alive. But it was a good watch. Anyway, it was a good watch. As far as this week's topic, I have no idea who I am as a character in a horror film. I'm definitely not the, what did you call, not mischievous, what did you say? I don't remember, but there's a jock, there's a nerd, promiscuous, there's a promiscuous slut or whatever. There's the hero. I know I am absolutely whichever one is the procrastinator. That would be me. I can tell you that. Anyway, I am going to see Insidious Out of the Further with my sisters tomorrow night, and I'm really hoping it doesn't suck. I really wasn't crazy about the Red Door, so I'm hoping this one is better, but we will see. Hopefully I'll be able to give my review on episode 170. I guess that's it for about it for now. I hope everybody enjoys these last few weeks we have of summer. I know I, for one, am very bummed out because summer is my season and it is when I am at my happiest. I'll be very sad to see it go soon, but life goes on. So until episode 170, see ya.
Metal Melody, the urban legend campfire story that you recall seeing in a film, was a John Carpenter film called Body Bags, where I believe there were 3 or 4 tales. It was an anthology film, and that was the first one. It was the man hiding in the back seat. It was a little bit different than the original campfire story, but the same premise. So it's called Body Bags, and it's by John Carpenter. There's also a nice little nod to Halloween in that because it's somewhere on the radio playing at the gas station. You hear that it's the town of Haddonfield. And, The Devil's Mouth, the shark film, which I avoided, well, I guess this is where you and Hardjack go separate ways because you felt it was a decent film and he wasn't too crazy about it. I see you as that character, Metal Melody. I think you nailed it. The procrastinator. And it's someone I didn't even put on the list, and that truly is. And you know what? And that would make a great story, right? You've got this person who procrastinated their whole life, and now they're in the thick of it with a slasher, and they got to change their ways. But, if I can say anything, Metal Melody, it's that I always appreciate your feedback. It's always great. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do going forward with the summer months. Maybe do the show till about mid-July, just after the 4th of July, and then just take a break until September. But I don't know. I haven't decided. It would be nice to hear what the other Monster Kids think. Is the summertime the best time to take a break since viewer and listenership is down anyway and so many people are on vacation? Or is that a big mistake? And, because people tend to forget when you're not around. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Always a pleasure hearing from you, Metal Melody, and we hope to hear from you again real soon.
Do you want to participate in Doc Mark's Macabre Cast? But you don't want to send a voice message? Maybe you don't like the sound of your own voice, or you're shy. Send Doc an email. He can read your thoughts on the show. Your opinion matters. Send Doc an email at macabretheater666@gmail.com.
So again, back to our topic. Who are you in the horror film? I listed a bunch of trope characters at the start of the episode, and one of the first I mentioned was the slut. I can't imagine anyone even admitting that that's the character they identify themselves with. Well, at least I don't see anyone admitting it on this show.
Hey. Guess who I'd be?
Well, seeing you tell a joke at the start of every show, the jokester, Karis? No? Okay, Karis. Who are you in the horror film?
The jock.
The jock? Oh. Yeah. Is that muscle under your bandage, or are you just happy Macabrecast is back?
That's funny. Yeah, Macabrecast is back. I don't think anyone knows it, though, because views are still down. Too bad. That stinks.
You just reminded me of a character I forgot to mention in my list. The asshole.
Goditi questo episodio de Cast Macabro.
Thank you, Maria Monstalia, for telling our Italian friends to enjoy this episode of Macabrecast.
Shh, come on now. Everybody pipe down. It's time for the final thought. When a guy who watches monster movies is all of a sudden gonna talk like some kind of philosopher.
I'm sure this isn't the first time I've treaded on this final thought, and it probably won't be the last. Most of us don't know who our character will be when the proverbial caca hits the fan. And then there are those who think they know, and then they are humbled when the time comes and they are not. I hope none of us find ourselves in a real-world horror film ever. Even though, as I have stated many times before, the monster in our lives doesn't always arrive wearing a hockey mask. It's good to be back, Monster Kids. Beware the moon. Keep clear of the moors. But most of all, remember, be good to yourself. This is Dark Mark, signing off. See you soon, I hope. This is a Macabre Theater production.
Subscribe us.
Land sakes alive!